A gCADPlus user in the United Kingdom is interested in tying together his design work with URLs or internet locations of species that he's working with. And I'd like to use this design by Angus Wheaton Landscaping to illustrate. If we zoom in here, and there's a symbol here that's called Acacia cognata. Just imagine that you wanted to quickly get an image file or reference an image file to Acacia cognata. The simplest way to do that, and in this case, is to use the plant database file. In this case, Angus has created one just for his landscape team work, and he's got several instances of Acacia cognata here. And if we expand this box, notice in here that the waterfall version of it has got a URL in here. So if we simply drag over that URL and copy it, so we could search quickly and easily and find it, and then all we need to do is swing to our browser and into Google and just paste that URL, and that takes us straight to the image file for Acacia cognata. It's been taken at the Botanic Gardens in Canberra in the ACT in Australia. But I hope that illustrates you can carry a lot of information in simple, let's go back to it, in simple text files, the GCP files, and you could have a number of different. If we widen that further, there'd be nothing to stop you adding more in that particular field. So that's one way of dealing with a URL in the gCADPlus environment. The next way is to use what's called extended data. So we can say gCADPlus and move down, and here's extended data. So we want to store extended data, and we activate it, and down here in the status line it says select the entity to edit the data. So let's pick this symbol, and down in the line here we read that there are several options. Is the entity paving or decking or irrigation or whatever? Well, it's clearly a species. So we hit enter, and here's this little pop-up box, and we can put the botanical name. Acacia cognata. The image that's currently on, we might have a layer images. That one must have gone on a layer images, not my drawing. I wouldn't put it on a layer images. We would put it on a layer species or whatever. The common name, waterfall, Acacia, or Limelight, or whatever it happens to be. You need to estimate the height if you're going to use this system, and the height in meters, and we need to get a little more information in that box to try and help you. We might try and do that in our next release of gCADPlus. So that would estimate the height at 3 meters. Now, you could put if you imagine if you'd been to that Botanic Gardens, you might have taken a location sensor with you, and you could get the Google KML file, or even if you had GPS data, you could get that. But we can backspace over here now, and we have that URL, and we pop it in there, and we save it. I won't link to the GRL for the moment, but you can have all sorts of information about it. Go for your heart's content. So for the moment, we'll just say OK, and that's been done. Now, if we put that switch on, line weight switch is not line weight, the wrong one. If entity now is on, we can move our cursor, and as soon as it gets near to that symbol, the information that we've just typed in is legible. But if we wanted to, and we went back to extended data, store in this version of gCADPlus, it's storing and editing are in the same category. So we have to select the entity again. Here it is, and we can link to the URL right from that little box. So that gives you even more versatility. The final way in gCADPlus, let me OK that. The final way to use links to URL in gCADPlus is to use our SPPDB, our plant database application, and many of you have a copy of it. So let's go to my desktop now and we'll fire it up. Well, I've moved to the desktop. Here's the link to species database, and I'm sitting at the first record. And if we click in this control bar area, we've got a quick find, and we know we're looking for Acacia cognata, so we just type cognata in there and ask it to do a quick find, and there we are. Now, this application, this plant database application, stores the image URL there, and we can download it. You do have to be careful here because people post images on the internet and they then move them, and so these image URL are not always accurate. But it's another way of linking URLs to your drawing. So you could then take that image and then paste it into another layout sheet in your design, and in that way developing a whole lot of information. So I hope that's covered different ways of looking and storing at URLs or internet locations and tying those to your landscape design work.